Ugh, ads are such poop. Subscribe to Acast Plus now to skip ads and more for just $1 a month. Click the link in our show notes to learn how. And hey, we're on Patreon too. Your support helps cover the cost of running a podcast. For $2 a month, you can get early access to all our episodes ad-free, plus bonus episodes exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. Visit patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse to sign up now. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened last week?
Let's see. Eliphaz was opining about how much Job must suck to deserve what he got, basically. Mm-hmm. I think that's the gist of it.
And what he got was...
lots of fucking shit. Kids dead. Boils. His wife thinks he should off himself.
Mm-hmm. And all because God was like, my guy's so great. And the devil's like, yeah, because he's got everything. And then
right.
God was like, so go ahead and fuck with him. He'll still love me anyways. And the devil was like, hold my beer, challenge accepted.
I really, if I was a betting man, mm-hmm. in reality, mm-hmm. the devil wins this hands down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, Satan's all in here. He's got this.
Well,
it's in the bag.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is not reality.
No, this is the Bible.
So, it is what it is.
Right?
But anyway, that was, last time we read Job chapter 5.
It sure was.
And now we're going to be starting, now we're going, now we're reading.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Got a little tongue twisted there.
You sounded like Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Job chapter 6.
Yeah.
Okay, Job chapter 6.
Okay.
Then? Yep.
Okay.
Job replied, to his friend Eliphaz, who's been
yeah.
telling him, you got what you deserve.
Right.
You reaped what you sowed, you sowing son of a bitch. who sows and reaps things.
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man.
Right.
So Job says, if only my anguish could be weighed and all my misery be placed on the scales, it would surely outweigh the sand of the seas. There's the sand.
Okay.
No wonder my words have been impetuous.
Okay.
Yeah, no wonder.
Because he's got so much sorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, that reminds me of that song from that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? A man of some
constant sorrow.
Constant sorrow.
Yeah, that's Job.
Yeah.
The man of constant sorrow.
He sure is.
Oh, he has good reason.
Yeah.
Good reason.
Definitely. Yeah. He should be cursing God.
Right.
The arrows of the Almighty are in me. They are. They really are. Mm-hmm. My spirit drinks in their poison. Mm. God's terrors are marshaled against me.
Okay.
Does a wild donkey bray when it has grass?
Does it?
Or an ox bellow when it has fodder?
I have no fucking clue.
I don't
really
either.
Don't know the answers to those.
Is tasteless food eaten without salt? I mean, sometimes.
If you don't have salt, yeah.
Yeah. Or if you have high cholesterol and you're cutting back, then you're going to be eating that bland stuff. Yeah. Or is there flavor in the sap of the mallow?
The fuck's a mallow?
What's the sap of the mallow? Bone marrow.
Maybe it's a tree? Must be a tree, right?
Sap of the mallow.
Or something. Some sort of plant or tree.
That sounds like the name of a band, though, doesn't it? Sap of the mallow.
I like that, yeah.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Decent.
Or a book. Could be a book.
I really like it as the band, though. Okay. Sap of the mallow.
Got it.
I refuse to touch it. Such food makes me ill. He has a gluten problem. Oh, that I might have my request, that God would grant what I hope for, that God would be willing to crush me to let loose his hand and cut off my life. Is he still saying, kill me?
I don't know. I don't know what he's getting at here
I don't
exactly.
either. Then I would still have this consolation, my joy and unrelenting pain, that I had not denied the words of the Holy One.
Okay, so he's supposed to be joyful that he has not denied God.
Is he,
Is that
is
it?
he feeling regretful that he cursed a little bit?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. What strength do I have that I should still hope? What prospects that I should be patient? It sounds like he's still kind of like wallowing, which is fine.
He's trying to work through it, it sounds like a little bit. You know?
Okay, so he's like, I'm wallowing, but I also should be better and
maybe, yeah.
Things.
Right.
I don't know shit.
Right.
He really needs a good counselor.
Yeah, I would say, I wish anybody would after that.
I wish BetterHelp would sponsor us. This would have been a perfect place for a plug,
yeah,
right?
You could do like an ad break right here.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
Sadly, we're not sponsored.
No.
Except by our fabulous patrons.
That's not entirely true. We do have ads, but we're not specifically sponsored.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Personally sponsored.
Right.
Except by our fabulous patrons.
That's right. Yeah, our patrons definitely do sponsor us.
And we love them.
We do.
Do I have the strength of stone?
Holy
no,
shit.
You do not. You do not. I can answer that one.
Right.
Is my flesh bronze? If you're Trump.
Don't think so. Well, but I mean.
If you're Trump, your flesh is bronze.
True.
But otherwise, probably no.
More orange, but yeah.
No. Do I have any power to help myself? ?
Of course you do.
Now that success has been driven from me?
Of course you do.
Does he? I don't know.
I mean, you always have power to help yourself. The power. The question is whether you have the will to do it, right?
I have the power.
And I'm not saying you should have the will. I'm just saying, you have the ability to figure out a way to get past this, I guess. Even though it's, this is some bad shit. So.
Or like Sarah told Jareth, you have no power over me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
At the end of Labyrinth.
My God, why do you just bring up random shit that I have no clue what you're talking about?
Because these are lines that it's like saying, nobody puts baby in a corner.
No, I'm not saying that people won't know, but not everybody knows. I barely ever know.
But that's a you problem.
Is it a me problem?
It is.
I don't think it is.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's not a problem that I don't know Labyrinth quotes.
It is a problem if I'm throwing them at you and you're like, that's dumb. I've never heard of that.
The real problem is that you throw them at me all the time. And
you don't catch them.
You expect me to
know
You
miss. Them. You're a bad player.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, Job continues, anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as the streams that overflow when darkened by thawing ice and swollen with melting snow.
Oh, this is so awful.
But that stop flowing in the dry season and in the heat vanish from their channels.
Okay.
He's describing a stream.
Yeah.
That when it rains, it gets real thick. It's a thick boy stream.
Okay.
And then when it's summer, then it dries up and evaporates and it's gone by.
Right.
Caravans turn aside from their routes. They go off into the wasteland and perish. The caravans of Tema look for water. The traveling merchants of Sheba look in hope.
Of Sheba, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Queen of?
Maybe, probably, possibly.
Whatevs.
Right.
They are distressed because they have been confident. They arrived there only to be disappointed. Alas, alas, alas. Those alasses were me.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. I'm trying to follow this. It's just very...
I can't. It's too purple prose. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's unnecessary flowery nonsense.
That's definitely what's going on here. Yeah.
Now you too have proved to be of no help. You see something dreadful and are afraid.
Is he talking about Eliphaz?
Yeah, he's chastising him for not being a good friend.
Okay.
Have I ever said, give something on my behalf, pay a ransom for me from your wealth, deliver me from the hand of the enemy, rescue me from the clutches of the ruthless, teach me and I will be quiet, Show me where I have been wrong. How painful are honest words. But what do your arguments prove? Do you mean to correct what I say and treat my desperate words as wind? You would even cast lots for the fatherless and barter away your friend. But now be so kind as to look at me. Will I lie to your face?
I don't know. Will you?
I don't know either, will I?
Right?
Relent. Do not be unjust. Reconsider, for my integrity is at stake. Is there any wickedness on my lips? Can my mouth not discern malice? The end?
So he's basically saying that you're running my name through the ground here, even though it's just a conversation between you and me, Eliphaz. You're pushing the boundaries of running my name through the ground and saying that I'm bad when I haven't done anything. Can you just tell me what I did? And he's like, I didn't do anything. Is that basically the gist of it?
You got it so much better than I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
That's impressive.
Well, I was really struggling. Like, I had to listen a lot more than I normally do in that chapter. So
yeah, I didn't get any of that.
I literally was closing my eyes to just imagine the words because it was hard to follow. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is Job trying to say?
So he's like, if you are accusing me of having done something to deserve this, tell me what it is that I did.
That's kind of what I was getting out of that chapter. So I guess, I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay.
And he's like, I haven't done anything. You tell me what I did. And
okay.
That's what I got.
That sounds right.
I could be wrong, but.
Well, the title of this was Job Reproaches His Friends.
Got it.
So that sounds like you got it right.
I think
he was reproaching his friends, definitely.
Yeah, well, at least Eliphaz.
Yeah.
I mean, Eliphaz is the only one that said anything so far that I'm aware of, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe his friends were sitting there nodding their heads. You know. I guess.
Go on.
Right?
Yeah, I'm with him.
Right.
Yeah, what he said, man. Stop wallowing.
Okay, so Job's like, yeah, no, I'm still good with God. I haven't said anything bad about God.
Yeah.
I said some shit, but what do you expect? My kids all just died and fucking boils and Jesus Christ, man, come on,
get off me.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they're bad friends.
Yeah, they were.
You know what a bad friend is? A bad friend is not a friend. There is no such thing as a bad friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's an oxymoron.
Right.
A friend is somebody who is supportive.
But you can refer to somebody that's a good friend as a bad friend because they do something that's like, when they like drag you out to do something, like, you're a bad friend.
But that's not for realsies.
Right, it's not for reals.
So it doesn't count.
Right.
He's like literally saying, you're bad friends.
Right.
I'm saying.
And they are. They came and sat with them and then they're like, you're the asshole. You did something.
Yeah. So. Obviously, because this was some bad shit that went down.
Right?
So what did
he do? It was some bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you're friends, why do you jump immediately to he did something?
I mean, that's what they've been taught.
Especially when you've probably extolled how wonderful this guy was most of your life because he's done nothing bad.
He's so righteous. He's upright. He walks on both feet.
Right, yeah.
All right.
That was Job chapter 6.
Sure as fuck was.
And we'll be back tomorrow with
Job chapter 7.
We'll see you guys then.
Yep. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Yeah, Darius looked up the receipts and he was like, yep, you guys get a temple. And
they built
we're going to help you pay for it too.
And they built it.
Yeah, and they built it.
And then the people were so fucking happy.
Yeah, they partied. With free shit. They got free shit to party.
I know, but then they were like, the Lord changed the attitude of King of Assyria. And I'm like, no, the receipts and Darius changed the King of Assyria's
that wasn't
attitude.
The Lord. Right.
That was not the Lord.
Right. Yeah, so that was Ezra chapter 6.
Sure as fuck was.
And today we're going to be reading
Ezra chapter 7.
All right, let's go do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, Ezra chapter 7.
Okay.
After these things.
These things.
The partying one.
Yes.
The building and the partying.
Those things.
Yeah.
Got it.
During the reign of Artaxerxes, king of Persia.
Okay.
So this is going back in time a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah. I've read about this. This book is kind of out of order. like chapters 1-6 were like, we got out and we got to build our thing, and then they made us stop, and then they let us build our thing again.
Got it. Okay.
And now this is going back a little bit in time.
Before Darius?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because remember there was Xerxes.
Yeah.
And then Artaxerxes.
Something like, sure.
So anyway, during the king of Persia reign, Ezra, son of Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Shallum, the son of Zadok, the son of Ahitub, the son of Amariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Miraioth, the son of Zerahiah, the son of Uzi, the son of Bukai, the son of Abishua, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the chief priest.
I got like my dad and like my grandpa, and I can maybe come up with my great grandpa's name.
Yeah.
That's as much as I got.
Yeah,
These people go back way too fucking far.
If I ask my parents, I can come up with my great grandparents.
Right.
And then after that, I'd have to go to Ancestry.com.
Right? Yeah, these fuckers are just like rattle it off. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
It goes this,
all the way back to Aaron.
This, and this.
All the way back to Aaron.
Like, you fuckers remember way too much shit for that.
This Ezra came up from Babylon, is what it says.
Okay. All right.
He was a teacher well versed in the law of Moses, which the Lord, the God of Israel, had given.
Okay.
The king had granted him everything he asked.
Everything.
Damn. Everything. Wow. Well, I mean, he might not have asked for much.
I guess not. That's true.
He might have asked for a scarf and some mittens, and that's it. Yeah. But he got him. Everything he asked.
He skipped out on the Lamborghini.
I don't know. I'm just saying, to say that he got everything he asked isn't impressive unless I know what all he asked for.
Sure. Yeah.
So whatever he asked for, he got it.
Okay. Yeah.
The king had granted him everything he asked, for the hand of the Lord his God was on him.
Got it.
Some of the Israelites, including priests, Levites, musicians, gatekeepers, and temple servants, also came up to Jerusalem in the 7th year of King Artaxerxes.
Okay.
Ezra arrived in Jerusalem in the 5th month of the 7th year of the king. He had begun his journey from Babylon on the 1st day of the 1st month, so like April or thereabouts.
Got it.
And he arrived in Jerusalem on the 1st day of the 5th month.
So it took him 5 months.
To get there.
Yeah.
For the gracious hand of his God was on him. I mean...
That's why.
Really, if the gracious hand of God was on him, it wouldn't have taken him 5 months to get there.
You wouldn't think so, because like we've seen walking times in that area, and it would not have taken that long to walk.
No, not
like
only
we were
that,
giving Moses shit over 40 years, and granted, this is only 5 months, but still,
yeah. Like we know for a fact that all you got to do is go in the future and get a car,
right? Yeah, or a plane.
Why didn't God get that stuff for him?
Right.
If the hand of God was really on him, he would have had a horse.
Yeah. Teleportation. Yeah. Shit. Come on, man.
For Ezra had devoted himself to the study and observance of the law of the Lord, and to teaching its decrees and laws in Israel.
Okay.
So I guess he was an okay dude, this Ezra.
I mean,
according to God.
Sure.
According to the Bible, according to God.
Yes.
This is a copy of the letter King Artaxerxes had given to Ezra the priest, a teacher of the law, a man learned in matters concerning the commands and decrees of the Lord for Israel.
Man, I see why they think it was written by him, because he's like, I'm really good at this shit.
I'm the goodest of the good, and I know how to good.
Yeah.
Artaxerxes, king of kings, to Ezra the priest, teacher of the law of the God of heaven. Greetings!
Man, why don't we do titles like that anymore?
I know, right?
We really should come up with titles for people that we talk to, because it's just so much cooler.
Husband, spouse of wife, father of child, worker of corporate America, speaker of podcast.
Yeah.
What's up?
I mean...
I like that they say greetings, though. Do you know what Charlotte the spider said to Wilbur in Charlotte's Web?
I mean, no. What?
She said greetings and salutations.
That's right.
And that is one of my favorite things to say ever.
Yeah.
And I was always excited that I knew the word salutations. And now as an adult, I realized Whatever, that's no big word.
Right.
Greetings and salutations. That's not a mouthful. Fifth
but
grade.
It's okay.
Me.
It's okay to think that when you're younger.
When I was in 5th grade, I was very impressed that I knew greetings and salutations.
Right. Yeah, that's something to be proud of. For sure.
Yeah. Now I decree that any of the Israelites in my kingdom, including priests and Levites, who volunteer to go to Jerusalem with you, may go. You are sent by the king and his 7 advisors to inquire about Judah and Jerusalem with regard to the law of your God, which is in your hand. Moreover, you are to take with you the silver and gold. Silver and gold.
What exactly is he inquiring about if God is in his hand? Wouldn't he already know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
want to read the rest of the letter and find out.
Okay.
Take with you the silver and gold that the king and his advisors have freely given to the God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem, together with all the silver and gold you may obtain from the province of Babylon, as well as the free will offerings of the people and priests for the temple of their God in Jerusalem.
But they hadn't rebuilt the temple at this point.
No. He's saying, take this silver and gold and go find out if the land is free and what's going on over there.
Got it.
And, what it's going to take to get this shit rebuilt.
Okay.
Here you go. Fly and be free, my friend.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
Got it.
With this money, be sure to buy bulls, rams, and male lambs, together with their grain offerings and drink offerings, and sacrifice them on the altar of the temple of your God in Jerusalem. You and your fellow Israelites may then do whatever seems best with the rest of the silver and gold in accordance with the will of your God.
Okay. Yeah.
Deliver to the God of Jerusalem all the articles entrusted to you for worship in the temple of your God. So he's like, here's all your stuff in addition to the silver and gold. Right. Okay.
I like that they're delivering it to God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. They're taking it to God, not a spot in the desert.
Hey,
not a piece
I got
of
a
land.
package for God here.
Anybody heard of
God?
God? Where
the fuck's God at?
Does he live in this?
I gotta get done here. I gotta get home here. Where the fuck is God?
It took me 5 months to get here. I'm not trying to take 5 months to get back. And anything else needed for the temple of your God that you are responsible to supply, you may provide from the royal treasury. I'm giving you carte blanche.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that? Carte blanche?
Sure. Sounds good.
Free reign?
Yeah.
Whatevs. Now I, King Artaxerxes, decree that all the treasurers of Trans-Euphrates, the insurance company, are to provide with diligence whatever Ezra the priest, the teacher of the law of the God of heaven, may ask of you. Up to 100 talents of silver. Oh, remember a talent was like...
That was like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's saying 100 of them.
Right.
100 cores of wheat. I don't know what a core is.
Nor do I, but it must be probably a lot.
A lot. Like
sure
a hand... Like, maybe a core is like a handful? Like, I don't know.
I would think more than that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking like a bushel. Like
a bushel?
Thing.
You think a core is a bushel?
Probably.
Okay. 100 baths of wine.
Baths? Like, I'm just imagining that a bath of wine is like
it's more than
size.
A bottle.
Right, yeah. Now, are we talking about the, like the bath that's known as the sea?
Probably not. Probably not. And are we talking about like a bath, like a tub that you sit in, or are we talking about like a bath like that you dip your cloth in and you do your cat bath, like you do your wipe down bath?
Yeah, I wonder what a bath is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
100 baths of olive oil and salt without limit.
Wow.
That
just salt.
Wow. Salt galore.
Yeah.
Salt for days.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the salt.
Yeah.
That is quite the heart attack and cholesterol level.
Well,
thing.
But it was how they preserved their food back then.
I know. I was trying to be funny.
Sorry.
I can always count on you with the actually.
Well,
whatever the God of heaven has prescribed, let it be done with diligence for the temple of the God of heaven. Why should his wrath fall on the realm of the king and of his sons? You are also to know that you have no authority to impose taxes, tribute, or duty on any of those motherfucking priests, Levites, musicians, gatekeepers, temple servants, or other workers at this house of God.
But anybody else, you got totally, you could do it.
Oh, yeah.
Just not them.
Not those guys.
Yeah.
And you, Ezra, in accordance with the wisdom of your God, which you possess, appoint magistrates and judges to administer justice to all the people of Trans-Euphrates, all who know the laws of your God. And you are to teach any who do not know them. Whoever does not obey the law of your God and the law of the king must surely be punished by death,
Wow.
banishment, confiscation of property,
Okay.
or imprisonment.
I see.
One of those.
Right.
Which would you do?
Which would I do?
Yeah.
I mean...
You get, like, somebody comes up and they're like, fuck that God. And you get to pick. Do you make them die? Do you banish them? Do you confiscate their property? Or do you imprison them? What are you going to do?
I mean, imprison them, I think you could get, you're like, yeah, go sit in jail for a day, man.
For a day?
Yeah. Doesn't say how long.
Are you going to confiscate their goods?
If I got a choice, I'll just imprison them for a day. If I just got to choose one of those things, I'll just be like, yeah, sit in jail for a day.
Just for a day?
Yeah.
And then when they get out and they're like, no, still fuck that God.
Then I'll imprison them for another day. I'll be like, dude, come on, man.
Come on, man. You sound like Obama. Come on, man. Praise be to the Lord, the God of our ancestors, who has put it into the king's heart to bring honor to the house of the Lord in Jerusalem in this way, and who has extended his good favor to me before the king and his advisors and all the king's powerful officials. Because the hand of the Lord my God was on me, I took courage and gathered leaders from Israel to go up with me. So see, he suddenly changed to first person there.
Got it, yeah.
This is now Ezra's like me. I'm the guy he's talking about in this story.
Yeah, I see why. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. And that's, the end.
Oh, the end.
The end of that
chapter. Yeah. All right. So Ezra's going to go spread God's word and shit. And
which we already know
gold
from.
And salt with him.
Which we already know from the previous chapter was a success.
Spoilers. Yeah. Yay. I guess.
Right?
All right. So that was Ezra chapter 7.
Sure as fuck was.
And tomorrow we will be back with
Ezra chapter 8.
We'll see you guys then.
Yep, bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Job came really close to cussing out God, but not quite.
But not quite. Yeah. But he did say, if you don't quit your shenanigans, you might not be able to see me anymore because I'll be dead.
Right. Yeah, he was threatening suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Because his shit sucks.
Yeah. He was remonstrating.
Yeah. He was doing that.
Whatever
that, entails.
Whoa.
All right, so that was Job chapter 7.
It sure as fuck was.
What are we reading today?
Job chapter 8.
All right, let's get into this.
Okie dokie. Okay, Job chapter 8.
Okay.
Then Bildad the Shuhite replied.
Bildad the Shuhite.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is his.
Is this another friend?
Yeah, like this is friend number 2.
Got it.
We heard from friend number 1.
I like the name, Bildad the Shuhite.
Okay.
What is this Shuhite? I wonder.
I don't know.
Is it like it's 3 inches, 2 inches?
No, not
a Shuhite.
You're
Sorry.
an idiot. No, it's one of those Hittites and
yeah, I know.
All those.
But I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
So
mm-hmm. You're silly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Bildad the Shuhite is saying.
Yeah.
Now. Okay.
Yep.
How long will you say such things?
Yeah. How long? Is it gonna be days? Weeks?
I'll tell you how long.
I'm done.
Till I fucking don't feel like saying it anymore.
Right, yeah.
Your words are a blustering wind.
Oh.
Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right?
I mean, technically, yeah, he is, kind of, actually.
Yeah, he is a person that perverts justice.
I mean, according to this chapter in the Bible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he definitely perverted what is right.
Right.
When your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. They brought it on themselves.
What did they do?
They had a party.
Oh.
They partied too hardy.
Got it.
They fought for their right to party, and they lost.
Yeah.
But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf.
Will he?
I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
I know it. And restore you to your prosperous state. What?
Okay, because that's what matters.
You're going to raise my 10 dead kids from the dead?
No, he's not.
No. Your beginnings will seem humble. So prosperous will your future be.
Yeah, because God, I guess.
I'm like, do you not understand that my children died?
Right. 10 of them.
10.
All 10 of them.
Yeah. And my body hurts.
Yeah.
Which just
boils.
isn't fair.
Right.
You know?
Plus, livestock's all gone.
Right. Like, I hadn't even got to my businesses yet.
Right.
My holdings, my stocks and whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, first and foremost, my kids are gone and my body hurts. Like, before anything else.
Right. Oh, and you guys are bitching at me.
And telling me I deserve it. And that my kids deserve it.
Right.
Fuck you. Ask the former generation and find out what their ancestors learned. For we were born only yesterday and know nothing. Well, you got that right. You sure do know nothing. And our days on earth are but a shadow. I mean... Okay. That's akin to YOLO, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Will they not instruct you, your ancestors I just told you to contact?
They won't, they're dead.
Right. Will they not instruct you and tell you? Will they not bring forth words from their understanding?
They will not.
They won't. They just won't. Can papyrus grow tall where there is no marsh? I mean, now
the answer is no.
But the answer is actually yes.
Right, yeah, you could.
Because we don't need a marsh to grow papyrus.
Yeah, go science.
Yeah, yay, Amazon. Can reeds thrive without water? I mean...
No.
Okay, no.
Yeah, no.
No, guess not. We all need water.
At least not that I'm aware of anyway.
Right. While still growing and uncut, they wither more quickly than grass.
Okay.
Not sure the relevance here, but...
Right.
Such is the destiny of all who forget God.
Oh, that's what it is.
So perishes the hope of the godless. This is pissing me off.
Yeah.
I do not...
Apparently we're destined for, withering and dying.
I don't like that they keep hammering this guy over the head with, you brought this on yourself. Just beg God. This it makes me so angry.
Yeah.
What they
But moreover, God's letting this happen.
Yeah.
So.
The God in this story?
Yeah.
Still a dick.
Yeah.
What they trust in is fragile. What they rely on is a spider's web.
Okay.
They lean on the web, but it gives way. They cling to it, but it does not hold. They are like a well-watered plant in the sunshine, spreading its shoots over the garden. It entwines its roots around a pile of rocks and looks for a place among the stones.
Okay.
This is like a really bad,
yeah.
Get to the point, guy.
Right, yeah. What are you trying to say, man?
But when it is torn from its spot, that place disowns it and says, I never saw you. Surely its life withers away, and from the soil, other plants grow.
Yeah, the ones that worship God.
I guess. I don't really...
Who cares?
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Surely God does not reject one who is blameless or strengthen the hands of evildoers. Surely not.
But he does.
We don't have a whole fucking book so far of what we've read that just undoes that entire sentence.
Right. This doesn't do much for God,
No.
We're sitting here talking about, they want to... these people right here, right? They're like, God never does anything bad or wrong.
Yeah.
So he's obviously correct in whatever his assessment is. But literally, this entire book is about him doing bad and wrong to prove a point to Satan.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Why are you trying to fuck with Satan?
Right.
Let him believe what he wants to believe.
You're
whatever.
Literally doing bad and wrong for the sake of doing bad and wrong.
Exactly. He will yet fulfill... Oh, wait. Let me start over. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just did. Yeah, with
and
laughter.
Your lips with shouts of joy. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
I'm a child.
Yes.
Your enemies will be clothed in shame.
Okay.
And the tents of the wicked will be no more. The end.
Yeah. Aren't you supposed to love your neighbor?
Only sometimes.
Yeah. So these people had enemies back then, right? They had lots of enemies.
They were all
always
enemies.
They're people the people from other cultures, enemies. The people that they don't like, enemies.
Everybody everybody's enemies.
They don't love people. They just
they hate them.
They hate them.
And Yeah, I think the Republicans relate to this well.
Well, I think they learn from God, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, God hates people.
Yep.
He hates his own people. So
yeah.
remember that time when he said he was like, I hate you guys the least.
Right? Yeah. You piss me off less than others do.
Yeah. I'm like, wow.
But remember that other time when he genocided the planet?
Yeah.
Or at least the Middle East.
Right, right.
Or at least that corner of the Middle East.
Sure. Yeah. That little dot on the map.
Yeah. He genocided them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the animals too, because fuck it.
Right.
Any animal that didn't make it on the boat.
Right.
Which, was entire species worth.
Do you know how many people literally believe that's a factual story?
Yes, and it
makes me
sad.
so angry when I hear people just like, but they did. There's proof of. Don't you know there's proof? I'm like,
my parents.
You're talking about that fake fucking proof that has been debunked a million times over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please tell me how you know this is true.
And then explain vaccines to me while you're at it.
Right? It's just so tiring sometimes when people have these ideas that are just so not based in reality.
They're tiresome.
They really are.
Yeah.
All right. You said that was it, right?
That was it.
Okay, so that was Job chapter 8.
Sure as fuck was.
And we will be back tomorrow with
Job chapter 9.
All right, guys, we'll see you then.
Bye. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Yeah, Job's other friend, one of his other friends,
Bilbo Baggins,
went on about how shit he must be for having done all the bad things that he must have done.
That he must have done.
Because his friends are crap.
Yeah.
And
they're unsupportive bitches.
They're like, yeah, we don't believe that you didn't do anything because you must have done something.
Even though we're your friends and we're with you like all the time, whatever.
Right. Also, your kids deserve to die because they obviously sinned. So.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that was basically it, right?
I think so. Also, something about do reeds grow in
not
dry
water.
Marshes or something?
Dry marshes.
I
don't think dry marshes is a thing.
I don't fucking know.
It wouldn't be a marsh if it was dry. So
a rose by any other name?
Sure.
Is a daffodil.
All right, that was Job chapter 8.
Sure as fuck was.
And today we're going to be reading
Job chapter 9.
All right, let's go do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, Job chapter 9.
Okay.
Then Job replied, "Indeed, I know that this is true, but how can mere mortals prove their innocence before God?" So he's telling his friends, I know that
generally speaking, yeah, bad people get what they deserve.
Right.
But I'm not. How do I prove that I'm not that person?
Like, I'm totally innocent, y'all.
Like, I mean, obviously, God's never done this before, so there is no way to prove it, right? Also, you'd have to start by proving that God's real, which, obviously can't be done. So, yeah, that's a real conundrum right there.
I don't know what to tell you, Joby. Though they wished to dispute with him, they could not answer him one time out of 1,000. His wisdom is profound. His power is vast. He's describing God.
Or God?
Job is describing God.
Okay.
Job is talking.
Yeah, okay.
Who has resisted him and come out unscathed? He moves mountains without their knowing it.
Wait, did we miss that part in the Bible where he moved a mountain?
Maybe.
Okay.
But
I guess
Muhammad moved a mountain.
He had to have built them at least, right? Because he made everything.
He did make them. But isn't there that if Muhammad can't come to the mountain comes to him or something like that?
Fuck if I know.
You never heard that phrase?
No. Not with regard to Muhammad, but
I could be misquoting it.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. So, but if that was true, then the mountain came to him and then God moved that mountain. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. He moves mountains without their knowing it and overturns them in his anger.
Overturns them, huh?
He turns mountains side down.
You ever been to the overturned mountain range?
Is that the Grand Canyon?
I think so, yeah.
Is that an upside down mountain?
It must be. That's what that is.
What a temper
That's where God overturned the mountains, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, Yahweh. God damn it. He shakes the earth from its place and makes its pillars tremble.
That's called an earthquake.
It is.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
He speaks to the sun, But does the
What
sun
does it
speak
right?
back?
Yeah, what does it say?
I mean, sometimes
It's fucking hot up here, dude.
Yeah, sometimes I speak to the sun, but it's usually on days that I forgot my sunscreen.
Right, yeah.
And I'm more just talking in general out my ass.
Out your ass, huh?
Out my ass.
Okay.
Don't you talk out your ass?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
All the time.
All the time?
I'm married to you, I know. And it does not shine. Oh, shit. He speaks to the sun and it doesn't shine.
Because he's, yeah, okay.
Okay. He seals off the light of the stars. Whoa.
Well, that's called clouds, right?
I mean.
Sorry, I'm like, what?
Whoa. He blocks the sun.
Yeah.
He alone stretches out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He is the maker, capital M, maker.
Yeah.
Of the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the south.
Okay.
God damn, I didn't know that they knew those constellations back then, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Pleiades, those are the stars, right? Those are those one stars that...
Those are those one stars. I think it's isn't that the Seven Sisters or something like that?
I don't know.
I can't remember I don't know what they are.
I'm just surprised that they knew constellations because in my mind, they're backwards dum-dums. So, I don't know. He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed. Miracles that cannot be counted. I could count them.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do it? I'll count them.
Well, it depends on how you look at that, right? So, like, some people that worship God think that he, like, everything good that ever happens is a miracle,
right?
Is a act of God. So, if you're counting everything that he ever, is given credit for, it's uncountable, right? Like, that's too many.
I thought you meant like specific acts. Like
most
I could count
religious
those.
people I encounter wouldn't think of it as like these major things, because there are no real major things that you can be like, God did that, right? So it has to be everything. Everything good is just God.
General.
Yeah.
So that's not a countable thing because it's just general.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a raise. That was God, It was a miracle.
It wasn't.
No?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. It's
just fucking raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he passes me, I cannot see him. When he goes by, I cannot perceive him. Why does he do that? Why doesn't he let you see him?
He let Moses see him, sort of.
I know.
Sometimes. And then he like stood in front of people, and back when Moses was around too. Like he stood right there in front of the tabernacle.
Yeah.
And yeah.
If he snatches away, who can stop him?
If he what?
Snatches away.
Snatches away, huh? That's okay.
Don't you snatch away?
That's not the word I would have used, I guess.
No, I don't snatch away. I have a snatch, but I don't snatch away. Who can say to him, what are you doing? God does not restrain his anger.
Hold on. Hey, God, what are you doing?
No, you gotta say it. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like he didn't answer.
Nope.
But I said it to him.
You did.
If he does exist, I'm saying this to you guys.
You sent the email.
Yeah.
It's not your fault if his box is full.
Yeah. I blind copied Jesus even.
Just in case. God does not restrain his anger. Even the cohorts of Rahab cowered at his feet.
Who the fuck are the cohorts of Rahab?
Whoever, we read about Rahab, but
Did we?
Yeah, I just don't remember.
Okay.
Who Rahab was.
I can't remember that off the top of my head.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But we did read about Rahab,
all right.
And God does not restrain his anger.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, because he's a dick.
Right.
How then can I dispute with him? How can I find words to argue with him? Though I were innocent, I could not answer him. I could only plead with my judge for mercy.
Yeah.
So he's not cursing God, but he is wanting to tell him, God, you're wrong.
Right.
I'm innocent. Stop doing this to me,
I mean, I'd want to say that too,
Even if I summoned him and he responded, I do not believe he would give me a hearing.
Right.
Could be.
Oh, Rahab. Just to throw, I had to know.
Okay.
Rahab, remember in Joshua?
Yeah.
She was the prostitute.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Told you we read about her.
Right? Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to know what that was.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
So He says that even if he summoned God, God wouldn't give him a hearing. But why?
Well, I mean, God doesn't make a big point of talking to a lot of people at this point in the Bible.
Right.
I mean, it's been a while since he
appeared,
pointedly talked to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he would crush me with a storm and multiply my wounds for no reason.
I don't disagree with that. I probably would.
Think you're right, sir.
Yeah.
He is pretty pointless.
Yeah.
And he does
he
pointless
likes
things.
that anger and vengeance shit.
Yes, yes.
Whatever.
My God is a jealous God.
Yeah.
Then why?
Why is he your God then?
Yeah. Like you literally get to choose.
Right.
He would not let me catch my breath, but would overwhelm me with misery. #facts.
Unlike what he's doing now. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I mean, how does it get worse?
I don't know.
Okay.
If it is a matter of strength, he is mighty.
Okay.
And if it is a matter of justice, who can challenge him? Nobody, because he's God.
Well, technically, anybody can challenge him. You
might die, though.
I mean, hypothetically, yeah.
Right. There are other gods.
According to the Bible, even, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe go with one of the other ones and be like, can
as
you
long
guys
as you just got to move outside of that 100-mile radius.
Right.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah, you got to move into one of the other gods, Demeses, or whatever that word is.
Yeah, and then you can be whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Even if I were innocent, my mouth would condemn me. If I were blameless, it would pronounce me guilty.
Why?
Because God would make your mouth say things.
But why would God make you pronounce yourself guilty when you're not?
Because he's a dick.
Well, yeah, I know that.
That's why.
That's dumb.
He's not logical.
But why does he think that God is going to make him lie?
Because he knows that God is garbage.
I don't get that though. He's proclaimed in the past that he loves God and he did all the sacrifices and all that. Mm-hmm. So I think that he believes that God is good. So if he believes that, then why would he, he's struggling with this whole scenario where he's had everything taken from him and everything's bad, right?
Yeah.
So why would you, but he's still not disparaging directly God. Mm-hmm. And why would you think that he would make you lie? That doesn't sound like the God that's been described thus far.
Right. So
why would you think that?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's finally come to terms with, oh shit, as long as nothing bad happened to me, it was easy to praise him.
Right.
But now that all this shit is happening, I got to give credence to the people that call him a dick, and maybe
he's just disillusioned, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Although I am blameless, I have no concern for myself. I despise my own life. Well, that's because you're covered in boils.
And your kids just died.
And your wife hates you.
And all your livestock's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit sucks.
Mm-hmm. It is all the same. That is why I say he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not what his friends are saying. They don't believe that.
No. And that's just another way of saying, yep, shit happens whether, there's a God or not.
I guess he has personal experience. From his point of view, right? We're supposed to believe that he's completely blameless here, right?
Right.
But who is actually blameless
Well, at the beginning of the story, we are told that he's an upright man who did no wrong.
Right.
So the author of the story.
Sure, the author of the story is telling us that he's blameless. All right.
Right.
I don't know. Struggle with that one a little bit.
No, I do too. I do too. When a scourge brings sudden death, he mocks the despair of the innocent.
Wow.
Because he's a dick.
That's fucking, yeah.
Because he's a dick. When a land falls into the hands of the wicked, he blindfolds its judges. If it is not he, then who is it?
I mean,
he ain't wrong.
Right. I mean, God is supposed to be omniscient and able to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Mm-hmm. So,
but sometimes bad people get away with, doing stuff.
Right. But so maybe they're like, is this like the beginning of the allowance for the devil? Is this?
I don't know.
He's questioning why do bad things happen, and they're like, well, there's this other guy, Satan.
Satan.
And God's kind of letting him do some things. So that's why.
It's not God doing it. He's merely allowing it.
Right. God's not all bad. He just Satan. You know.
You know.
He's Satan.
Oh, Satan. My days are swifter than a runner. They fly away without a glimpse of joy.
Mm.
They skim past like boats of papyrus. They're really into papyrus.
Yeah.
Like eagles swooping down on their prey. If I say, I will forget my complaint, I will change my expression and smile. I still dread all my sufferings, for I know you will not hold me innocent. Since I am already found guilty, why should I struggle in vain? Even if I washed myself with soap and my hands with cleansing powder, you would plunge me into a slime pit so that even my clothes would detest me.
A slime pit, huh?
I'm going to put you in a slime pit.
You remember that show used to be on TV? It was like where they like it was like Nickelodeon and they slimed people all the time.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
That was a fun show.
I'm like it was novel at the time, right? Like
yeah.
They're just dumping goop on people. It's kind of fun.
It was kind of funny. Yeah. And they had a word at the beginning of every show and that they would tell the audience but not them, and if the cast said the word then they got the goop.
Yeah.
They got the slime pit.
Yeah that was good stuff.
Yeah
He
is not a mere mortal like me that I might answer him, that we might confront each other in court. Yeah, he's not a mere mortal.
Right.
Yeah, you can't take
That's
God to
what
court.
a god is. Not.
There was a character in the show Picket Fences that attempted to take God to court. And in Ally McBeal, somebody went so far as to try to sue God.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think something like that happened in Ohio. Like there was a guy.
Get the fuck out.
Well, you remember that guy that we met at the atheist bookstore thing?
Was it the angry one?
The one that had his license plate said God, right?
Yeah.
That guy did something really famous as far as like a lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah. He's somewhat famous. I found out after we had met him. But he had sued something with regard to God. I think he claimed he was God or something, like legally. And
somebody had to prove he wasn't.
Right. Yeah. It was something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah. Maybe it was the right to have God on his license plate.
Maybe, but I'll have to look it up. But that was, I thought it was really neat that we had met him, and then I saw a story about him afterwards. I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
Well, I'm sure he's a very fine individual, and if he's listening, I'm sorry that I called him a dick, but he was
kind of a dick.
He wasn't nice. He got mad at the way I signed my email. Yeah. And he wanted me to change it to make him happy. Yeah. Because I had used the word, what was the name of that church that we went to? Paradox. Yeah. Yeah, the church was called Paradox. And I had signed it with that in my signature. And he was like so offended that I had a church name in my signature. And I was like, but it's actually not really a churchy church.
Right.
I don't know.
But I have mixed feelings about this because I've talked to a lot of people since we've started this podcast who have been very hurt by religion. And not only that, but religion hurts society. So I
totally agree.
I get the anger. I don't think that the way he went about it was correct. But
he was mad at me for my signature.
Right. Which could have resulted in him having a discussion with you that was two peers having a discussion about, hey, why do you do this? And, back and forth, right? Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. He was just kind of a dick about it.
Yeah, I probably still would have been very defensive because whomst the fuck do you think you are? I can sign my shit any way I want.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you.
So it wouldn't occur to me to ask somebody else about their signature. So it left me appalled that somebody would do that to me. Right. And fuck you, sir.
It's kind of like our neighbor that we just met.
Let's tell that story. Our new neighbor.
So we just found out that it was our next door neighbor, but we didn't know for sure until tonight. But when we had a moving truck out in front of our house.
Because we're moving.
Yeah. And we were moving shit into the house, and our child was out front, and they encountered somebody who we didn't know who it was at the time, who asked them if we were going to be parked there the rest of the night.
Did we plan to be doing that all night? Did we plan to be there all night?
Right. And our kid was like,
let me get a parent. Mind you, our kid looks 12, you know? Okay, they look really young anyway. And they don't look 18. So it was really, really crazy that this person felt that it was okay to just accost what looked to be a minor.
Right. So anyway, they asked, they basically, when our kid went to go get us, the person was gone. Like, they just drove away. Nowhere to be found anywhere.
Right. Because our kid was like, I don't know how to answer this. Let me get a parent.
Yeah. And we continued moving stuff the rest of the night. Like, not the rest of the night, but like for the next hour or so.
Yeah.
And never saw anybody else come up, approach us, nothing.
Right.
We're like, who the fuck was this person?
And how dare.
Right. And now, to be fair, we had a conversation with our neighbor that did this, like a day or two prior.
It was the day before that.
Yeah, and it was a decent conversation, just kind of like a, hey, how you doing? You know,
my name is so and so,
right?
And nice to meet you, and yeah, we're moving in.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad conversation,
and they knew we were moving in.
Right? Yeah, we had that conversation with them, like, hey,
the house has been empty for 3 years.
We even discussed. We said, hey, you know, we don't have the garage door openers yet. We were going to be getting those, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're parking out front. You know, sorry if that gets in your way at all, but, you know, it is what it is. Right. Well, we have 3 cars, and we haven't quite figured out our garage door opener situation yet. So tonight, you
were unloading your car?
I was unloading my car because I had a small load I was picking up, and I was unloading it.
You're still bringing stuff over from the old place.
And we had 3 cars parked in front of our house, which kind of bled over into in front of their house a little bit.
But it should be pointed out that this is a public street.
Yeah.
Everybody parks on both sides of the street, and it sucks, but it is what it is.
Right.
And there's no assigned parking.
Yeah, there's no assigned parking. And our cars were as close as you could get them in front of our house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anyway, she comes out and she's like, so do I only, or
you said that she goes, so I guess I don't get 2 parking spaces anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how antagonistic is that?
But literally, like, and I showed wife this, like, I said, come here, look at this. Cause I was nice to the lady. I was like, hey, you know, I'm just moving stuff in, you know, I'll be happy to move this out of the way. Like I parked it in the garage tonight just to not fight with our fucking neighbors, you know, like I don't want to start off our fucking living here with fighting with our goddamn neighbors.
Because we haven't even lived here a month yet.
Right. But anyway, so I told her, I was like, I'll move back into the garage after I'm done. But I pulled wife up to the window and I was like, just look in front of her truck. What was in front of her truck?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
She had wide open space.
Yeah, there was plenty of room to park in front of her truck. She's got one vehicle. She's got a boyfriend that visits every now and again. She's like, I tell my boyfriend to park in another planet, and then he walks here from there. And I'm like, why do you do that? There's plenty of parking on the street. You might have to walk, like, I don't know, worst case scenario, a quarter mile.
Like,
worst case.
4 or 5 houses down.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Like,
not only that, but lady, you have a 2-car garage too, because I've been in the back alley.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, she has a 2-car garage as well. Like,
so
no one's stopping you from fucking using that. So
I feel like if her response had been, "Why aren't you parking in your garage?" mine would have been like, "Why aren't you parked in yours?"
Right. Yeah. Look, I have no problem. Like, okay, if she had approached us and said, "I want, you know, just out of curiosity, you know, would you guys mind? I have 2 cars here and I like to park in front of the house. Is there any way we could figure out a way to, like, keep one of your cars off the street somehow?" Or, like, if she had asked in a different way instead of just being like, so are you going to
blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah. Just like passive aggressive bullshit.
After having accosted our child.
Yeah. So I told wife, I was like, this is the last thing. This is the last thing.
You know what? I got to say one more though.
Yeah.
Because over the last couple of weeks, like, we're still new. We don't know the setup. We don't know the rules, whatever.
Right.
But since we've moved in, I've had to park down the street.
Yeah.
One time I had to park 4 or 5 houses down because it's public parking and it's first come, first served. And,
and if somebody's visiting at somewhere, then you just don't have parking.
That's just the way it is. It sucks and it is what it is.
Right.
But I didn't know that I could just go, beating on doors and be like, are you going to be in front of my house? I just moved in and I want it real bad. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
I would never. I just don't understand. It just didn't even occur to me. I told my parents when they came to visit the first time, I was like, it's tight parking and it's,
Yeah.
You might end up parking a few houses down. Sorry for it. Mm-hmm. It didn't even occur to me to tell them, and if somebody else is parked in front of my house, you have the right to get out and tell them to move. Like, the fuck?
We're off on a tangent here about this.
We are. So. Sorry, guys. That was a rip, but...
But anyway, so did we finish this already?
No, there's a couple sentences
Jesus Christ,
left.
we still have to finish the chapter.
Well, okay, but that lady made us mad.
She really did.
Because we're not assholes.
No, we're not at all.
We're nice.
There's no reason. I was even nice after she was an asshole.
I mean, okay, I heard your tone of voice.
Okay, I wasn't nice, but I was...
You were polite, but clipped.
Right. She can see I'm moving shit out of my car.
Like, she asked you that as your arms were holding heavy shit.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be clipped. I'm fucking moving shit out of my car.
No, I don't blame you. It's just that you're like, I was totally nice. And I'm like, well, you weren't totally nice, but you weren't a dick.
I moved my fucking car for her, and she still hasn't used the goddamn parking space I cleared for her.
I know. It's true.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
She can fuck right the fuck off.
Well, we found the neighborhood Karen, is what we've decided. Yeah. And we live right next door to her. Isn't that exciting?
Joy.
And she cuts hair.
I don't know. Nothing wrong with cutting hair.
No, I don't know why. It's just so like, yep, yeah, she does.
Right.
Karen lives next door and cuts hair and wants both of her spaces in front of her house.
Whether she's using it or not.
Yeah. Apparently she feels that they belong to her.
Apparently.
Okay, so anyway, back to the Bible.
Yeah, Job.
If only there was someone to mediate between us. Someone to bring us together. Someone to remove God's rod from me. Yeah, because his rod is right up your ass, isn't it? So that his terror would frighten me no more. He wants to get that rod out of him.
You got to get that rod out of your ass. Yeah, you got to get that rod out.
Get that stick out of your ass, Job.
Yep.
Poor God.
I wonder if that's where that saying came from, stick up your ass.
I wonder.
It started out as a rod up your ass. But
yeah. He's got to get his rod out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your hang up, man? You just lost all your kids and got boils. Fuck, man.
You got a rod up your ass?
Get that rod out your ass, man.
Yeah. I bet that's where it came from. That's so funny. So anyway, if only there were someone that could mediate, blah, 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 then I would speak up without fear of him. But as it stands now with me, I cannot. The end.
Okay.
He's like, I wish I could speak up.
Yeah, but he can't, apparently.
I can whine on you guys. I can, tell you how upset I am, but you guys don't give a shit because you think I got what I deserve.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't stand up to the neighborhood Karen, so.
You didn't.
I just moved the fucking car.
But, I mean, we gotta live here.
Yeah.
And even though
But like I said, that was the last thing that will happen.
We literally did, though, just put up security cameras everywhere.
Uh-huh.
We were doing that anyway, but as we put them up tonight, we were like, and now we know why.
Right, yeah.
Just in case. Just in case.
Yeah.
La.
Just in case someone gets pissed for us parking in front of their goddamn house or something.
In public parking.
Right.
You guys.
Anyway.
You guys.
I was like, I should have brought it out there. Like, hey, would you mind coming over here real quick? Could you show me whose house I should park in front of?
Right? So not you. Got it. So.
Right.
Where do I park?
Yeah, I've used all the space in front of ours. So there's plenty of space on this street. Which house do I fuck over?
Yeah.
And it's not you, obviously, because you are too important. Mm-hmm. You cannot be fucked with, apparently.
You're the arbiter of who gets fucked.
So who can I fuck with?
Right.
Okay.
Apparently, you are aware of things around here. You know the know.
Right.
Who's only got one car so that when our kid is with us, they have a place to park their car.
Right.
Because when our kid isn't with us, we only have the 2 cars.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, we need to know who do you not like, or who only has one car, so we can take their other spot.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let us know, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Her name's not Karen.
It could be.
Could be. For sure.
I feel like it is.
Should be. Maybe.
Should be.
Yeah. All right. We're just rattling. We're just angry.
We are
rattling off here.
We are. Sorry.
We're just bitching about our fucking plight here. All right. That was Job chapter 9.
Sure as fuck was.
And we will be back tomorrow with
Job chapter 10.
We'll see you guys then.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Job had a rod up his butt from God.
God's rod.
God's rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, God's rod.
God was really dicking him around.
Yeah. Couldn't get out. And then we discussed our local Karen.
We did.
A lot.
We did. But with regard to Job chapter 9,
yeah.
It was just more of him trying to cuss God, but not really.
Right.
Felt like.
Tiptoeing around it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'm real upset, but
I'm not going to cuss you too much.
And my friends over here, they're telling me I deserve what I got.
But you'll be sorry. I'm going to off myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was that last chapter. That was chapter 9.
That was.
And today we're going to be reading
Job chapter 10.
All right, let's go find out what happens today.
Okie dokie. Okay, Job chapter 10.
Okay.
Job is speaking.
Okay, so Job's still going?
Yeah, it starts out with him in quotes.
Got it. Yeah.
I loathe my very life. I like the word
more
loathe.
Depression and loathing. Got it.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Self-loathing.
Probably because that rod's still stuck there. You know?
Yeah, he's wallowing with it, though. I mean, not that I blame him.
No, yeah. I mean, I get it, man.
He lost his kids, and he's covered in boils. I totally get it.
Right.
Therefore, I will give free rein to my complaint and speak out in the bitterness of my soul.
Okay.
You're going to be bitter.
Yeah.
Okay. I say to God, do not declare me guilty, but tell me what charges you have against me. Does it please you to oppress me, to spurn the work of your hands while you smile on the plans of the wicked? So this is a why do bad things happen to good people?
Right, but this goes against my understanding of this book, though, because people in the past that have questioned God's motives have not fared so well.
No, they have not.
And here he is questioning God's motives.
Ad nauseum.
And
multiple
he's supposed
chapters.
to be an upright guy, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Not that I blame him.
No, again, he's got every right. You know, this dude got fucked over. Okay, if we're assuming, you know, in canon here.
Yes.
If we're assuming God did this, he's got every fucking right to be pissed.
Yeah.
Big time.
I agree totally, because God's a dick.
It still doesn't fit my understanding of the narrative.
Yeah,
that's
same. I'm really surprised, I guess, because, you know, never having read this before.
Right.
You just kind of
You have a short version of the story in your head.
Yeah, like a Cliff Notes kind of second-hand version.
Yeah. And this is a long book, so I mean...
It really is.
There's a lot of getting there, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't expecting so much wallowing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So much anger.
I agree.
I thought, lots of bad things happen to Job, and he never complains.
Yeah,
hey.
Right.
But, okay.
But he complains.
He complains. Rightfully so.
Right. You can't say it enough.
Because I have such mixed feelings. Like, I'm having to, discuss, you know, Job of the Bible versus the Job that I know secondhand versus how would I feel if this was a real life event?
Well, and we walk through we walk a fine line on the podcast here because, you know, we don't believe in God. Right. But we're reading the story, as a book, right? So we're trying to be in character a little bit and take things as they are in the book somewhat.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the three different perspectives that I just offered up is Job of the Bible.
Right. Well, and I'm kind of irritated with ourselves for this chapter just because we already do know the story.
Yeah.
We know the gist of the story. And part of our part of the thing that we love to do is read and not know.
Exactly.
Right? And it's kind of annoying knowing.
It's annoying-ish knowing, but it's also annoying-ish thinking you know, and then it's not even living up to your expectations.
Right, right.
Like, it's one thing to think you know and then be like, oh shit, I didn't know that one though.
Right. No,
which has happened.
I'm sure that we'll have some more surprises throughout this,
absolutely.
So.
I don't know. This was a not good surprise.
Yeah.
Is all. Okay, sorry.
No.
So he's still talking to God. Do you have eyes of flesh? Do you see as a mortal sees? He's insulting God. He's basically being like, are you blind, motherfucker?
Right, right.
Are your days like those of a mortal, or your years like those of a strong man, that you must search out my faults and probe after my sin, though you know that I am not guilty and that no one can rescue me from your hand? ?
Yeah, he's really calling him out here.
He's like rephrasing, tell me what I did.
Right.
In so many different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Your hands, he continues to God, shaped me and made me. Will you now turn and destroy me? Yeah.
The answer is apparently yes.
Yes, he will. Remember that you molded me like clay. Will you now turn me to dust again? Uh-huh.
That's an interesting, reference back to how God created man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sort of from dust and, all that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, clay and dust and all that. Yeah, he's basically like, why'd you even fucking bother?
Right.
Which, I mean, we all kind of would love to know.
Right, yeah.
Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese, clothe me with skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews? You gave me life and showed me kindness, and in your providence watched over my spirit. But this is what you concealed in your heart, and I know that this was in your mind.
The shit that he's putting them through?
That was a colon at the end of that sentence. Okay. And I know the following that I'm about to read was in your mind.
Got it.
So new paragraph, but we're about to see what this is.
Right.
Yeah. If I sinned, you would be watching me and would not let my offense go unpunished. True.
Right.
True.
Right.
If I am guilty, woe unto me. Even if I am innocent, I cannot lift my head, for I am full of shame and drowned in my affliction. If I hold my head high, you stalk me like a lion and again display your awesome power against me. You bring new witnesses against me and increase your anger toward me. Your forces come against me wave upon wave. Why then did you bring me out of the womb? I wish I had died before any eye saw me.
Oh, wow.
This is repetitive, though.
Yeah, no,
He's already said, I wish I was never born.
Yeah, so over and over.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. If only I had never come into being or had been carried straight from the womb to the grave.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That
this is morbid.
Harmful.
Right.
Like, you're basically like, why didn't my mom stillbirth me? Why didn't my mom miscarry me? Like, think of your mom, asshole.
Right.
Like, ouch. Don't wish that on a woman ever.
Yeah.
Are not my few days almost over? Turn away from me so I can have a moment's joy before I go to the place of no return, to the land of gloom and utter darkness, to the land of deepest night, of utter darkness and disorder, where even the light is like darkness. The end.
Even the light is like darkness?
I mean, it sounds like he's saying, well, clearly you think I'm a sinner, so I guess I'm going to hell, so can you please just...
And it is interesting that there's a bit of a description there from anybody in the Bible about a place that you're going that is dark.
Yeah.
Right? It's not something that they've really...
it's not hellfires.
Right, but it's not... They haven't described any place that people go after death yet.
Exactly.
Really. Like, that's not something that I recall. Like, they've talked about heaven, maybe? Like,
it was in the one of those when God had the angels in a vision.
Right.
Somebody saw.
Well, and just in this chapter or in this book, I mean, God had a meeting with Satan and some other angels and stuff. So, like, that indicates maybe a place that they meet, right?
Right.
But there hasn't been really much of a distinction as to where you go when you die.
Right. I was going to say that whole thing was God and his angels, and that isn't necessarily where people go.
Right.
Like, that's
So
just a separate realm.
It's interesting that our first description of where you
any
might
afterlife.
end up after death is
any
a
afterlife.
dark, gloomy piece of shit place.
Yeah.
You know?
Disorder, chaos.
Right. Or that there is even an afterlife at all.
Right.
Like, it's interesting to me.
And he is convinced that that's where he's going.
Right.
He ain't going nowhere good.
Right. So there, at the very least, this does let us know that people in those times had some sense of some type of an afterlife.
Right. During the Babylonian exile, I believe, is when these after stories are all taking place.
Yeah. So I find that intriguing somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Just because it's, I mean, we're reading the Bible, we're in the OT, and this is the first time we've come across this. Ish.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Insofar as it's, the Bible.
He definitely, right. He definitely doesn't call it hell, though. He just is like describing opposite of light and rainbows and happiness.
Well, I don't think the true, Christian version of hell really kind of hits home until maybe the New Testament. I could be wrong about that.
I honestly don't even know, because you've got your misinterpretations of, the hellfires and Sheol and the places where they burned their trash and sacrificed babies and threw the dead bodies.
There are definitely things that people think are references to hell.
Right.
And that things aren't. Like that. Right. I mean, to say they are or they aren't is semantics, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They don't specifically say that it's hell, and we don't, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to draw connections where there may not be a connection.
Apologists are trying to draw connections.
Right.
People who study language, they do tell you, no, that is not.
Right.
That may be a hell, but it's a hell on earth, and it is the trash fires.
Right.
It is not this separate realm opposite of heaven.
Right.
It's not an afterlife. Well, it's a current trash pile burning stench.
Honestly, just from reading the Bible, I would take my version of heaven and hell is how you either are acting towards God in this life or not acting towards God in this life. You are either being shit on by God, and that's hell, or you're in his favor, and that's heaven.
Yay.
There is no, until just now, there's been no distinction as to something more than this life.
Yeah. Well, because Jesus hasn't died yet, I don't think there is an afterlife yet, or maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know. I don't really know. But there are demons-ish, like the Leviathans and stuff like that, right?
But those are various monsters created by God or other types of gods, or that has nothing to do with people. Demons are not like evil souls gone wrong or something.
I feel like something that would be an interesting side topic, not that we need more rabbit holes, but something that I would be interested in would be the viewpoint of the Jewish people's afterlife.
Yeah.
What is their viewpoint, and what was it when this time frame was around, and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's obviously different from Christians' viewpoints.
Very.
So it just would interest me to understand what their viewpoint of the afterlife means.
Right.
And I don't really know that. I don't have any sense of what that means to a Jewish person.
Yeah, I don't either.
Right?
That would be interesting. And even toward that end, it would be different from I hate to say Catholic as though it's not Christian, but Catholic and Christian are almost two separate. I mean, Catholic and Protestant. They're both Christian, but when you think of Christian, at least in America, you think of Protestant. And Catholics almost are separate from that.
Sure.
Because they worship so differently, and they have such a different belief system, and they're so structured. And
it's in the structure. It's in the breakdown of how everything is. But yeah. Saints and all that. It's weird.
So that's what I mean, though. Even their idea of the afterlife is different from Protestants.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That's what I mean by it's almost a different religion.
Yeah. In
that they don't function the same. They don't have the same beliefs in the afterlife.
Right.
They are basically they are as closely tied as are the Jewish people to these religions.
Yeah.
They're just all different offshoots.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even Islam is a different offshoot of
And I have
Judaism.
no idea what their idea of afterlife is.
Right.
So
70 virgins, right? I know that bit.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Is that a thing?
It's a thing, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
It's one of those enticements that why people will go martyr themselves for their cause or whatever. So they're promised these things in the afterlife.
That's so arbitrary.
Right.
I mean, fuck a virgin. Like,
yeah, no,
why not fuck a watermelon? You know, fuck a apple pie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Right.
Fuck a glory hole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 70 of them.
70. Yeah.
It's important. It's such an arbitrary gift and an arbitrary number of gifts.
Well, but as we're reading through the Old Testament again, like how many kings and people that are important in the Bible had a harem of some type, or,
right?
Like a lot of wives,
and a lot of stress was placed on virginity,
right?
Which is just so gross.
Yeah. So I mean, I can, and it's based on some of the same things, so that I can see maybe where that came from.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mean that it's any more arbitrary than any of the other bullshit that I'm reading.
Right.
It's all arbitrary nonsense.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I don't we're rambling on about, where you go after you die here. But essentially that was the end of Job chapter 10.
Sure as fuck was.
And tomorrow is Saturday, so we will be back tomorrow with
Q&A Saturday.
And then on Sunday, I think we're finally going to get around to a
Sacrilegious book club.
And then we'll be back again on Monday. Oh, I'll get a weekly replay. I'm going to do my damnedest not to forget this week.
Otherwise, you'll burn in hell.
No.
I'll toss you onto the fires of Sheol.
No.
Yep.
But then, then after that, then it will be Monday again, and we'll be back with
Job chapter 11.
All right. We'll see you guys then.
I had my shit straight.
Bye, guys.
Husband.
Wife.
Do you know what we're doing today?
I think it's a Saturday.
It is. So we're doing Q&A Saturday.
Right. And what kind of cues we got today?
I'll be honest, we didn't really have very many cues.
Oh.
We were just like, are we reading this correctly?
Yeah.
And I mean, spoiler alert, yeah.
Oh, so, well, I mean, that's a plus.
Yeah. So I looked up some stuff about structure, and that was kind of interesting. Like, not as interesting as, say, behemoths.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to top Leviathans and behemoths.
It really is. But, we'll do what we can, and it's still good to know.
Right. All right. Well, let's go get into this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so before I get into the structure and all of that, I just want to say I was a little disappointed when I got into my search, because I still had my search windows open from last week. And so I had things like classification of demons.
And you're like, I want to go down this road.
Yes, I so did.
Yeah.
And then I had to close that window out, and I was like, womp womp. So this is nothing like last week, but it's more...
You can't,
It's more academic than...
Got it.
Than what we normally do, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. So the theme of Job in general is, why do righteous people suffer? Which is basically, why do bad things happen to good people?
Okay.
And we both kind of already said that, but that is confirmed. Okay. That is what the theme of this whole book is.
Got it.
Okay. And so, like, story up to this point, like where we are, during this portion, Job laments the night of his conception and the day of his birth. He longs for death. His 3 friends visit him and accuse him of committing sin.
Right.
And tell him that his suffering was deserved as a result.
Right.
And that was the traditional understanding of suffering at that time. So that made sense.
Yeah.
And I mean,
there's still some of that lingers today. Mm-hmm. Like, people still, if you have something bad befall you,
yes,
people will be like, well, what did you do to deserve it? It's it's not like a fact. Right. Like, it's not a thing that people are like, you definitely did, but people some people, religious people, do sometimes think that about other people.
Yes. And they also think, and so this is all part of God's plan anyway.
Right.
Which I'm not sure how you reconcile you fucked up and you earned this versus, but this was all God's plan.
Right.
But
I've never understood that. That it doesn't really make sense.
No.
And
how do you have free will and choice to fuck up, and yet it's in God's plan?
It's just a convenient excuse to ascribe things to God.
Exactly.
That's all.
Exactly. That is something that Candide railed against, and so you should, or I'm sorry, that Voltaire railed against, and so you should read his book Candide.
Right.
Because I know I've recommended that before, but
you're recommending that to me because I have not read it.
But I've also recommended it to our listeners before as well, and they haven't read it either.
Well, we don't know
that. I'm talking to you, the one out there
that hasn't read it.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Job responds to his friends with scorn towards, they're being miserable to him.
Right. I mean, like, dude just lost everything.
Yeah.
And has boils, and he's like, the fuck, guys?
He's like, this does not track. Y'all are not helping me, and this does not track.
Right.
The math ain't mathin'.
Right.
Okay? And so, he responds with scorn, he questions God, and he fiercely opposes the idea that he's being punished for wrongdoing. Because he's like, okay, I'm not saying I'm sin-free, but if I'm being punished for whatever sins I may or may not have committed, I've already been forgiven for them. I've already atoned for them. So why ain't y'all suffering worse than me? Because I know y'all shit stink.
Right. Right.
So he begins to berate God for the disproportionate wrath against him, which it really is disproportionate. And he does see it as wrath because to this point, and I believe throughout the whole book, they are unaware of the other situation that's taking place in heaven between God and Satan.
Yeah, obviously. It wouldn't be much of a bet if you let the person you're betting against or for know.
So he doesn't know that he's just a pawn. He, his understanding is that he's being judged or he's being tested to see how strong his faith is, or he's being punished, and he's like, I don't understand. This is bullshit.
Say that people, the Christians are against gambling sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck, God does it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
true. He literally tells Satan, also referred to as the adversary, bet my guy's good.
Right.
And Satan's like, hold my beer. We'll check that theory.
Right, exactly.
So he sees God, Job, that is, sees God as intrusive, suffocating, unforgiving, obsessed with destroying a human target, angry, fixated on punishment, hostile, and overall destructive.
A dick.
Yeah. To sum it up.
Right.
Yeah. He sees him as a dick in not so many, but more words.
Right.
Yes. So that's where we're at thus far. And from there, I thought I would, like I said, go over the structure a little bit. Which I didn't realize that there is a very easy outline where you can see the structure of this book.
Okay.
So the first two chapters are referred to as the prologue. And that's basically where they're setting up the story. And it's where we're introduced to Job, and we're also introduced to the situation with God and the devil.
Got it.
Or Satan.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's chapters 1 and 2. Okay. Chapters 3 through 31 are referred to as the dialogue.
Oh my.
Right. And that's going back and forth between Job, his friends, Job to God, Job to his friends. Right. So we've got, 20.
We got a lot of dialogue coming.
Chapters. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the section that we're in right now.
Got it.
And chapter 3 is the beginning of that section, and that one covers Job's self-curse and self-lament. Okay? So after chapter 3, we're still in the dialogue, but the first section after chapter 3 is what's referred to as round 1. Okay? So there's different rounds of the dialogue.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
And it's a very cyclical nature, like it's friend Job friend, or friend Job, or something like that.
Got it.
And it repeats.
Okay.
So this is round 1 of that repetition.
Okay.
So we've covered chapters 1 and 2. We've covered chapter 3. So now we're starting round 1. Chapters 4 and 5 are Eliphaz. And Eliphaz asks whether humans are righteous before God. Like, that's his basic thing. Okay. Because don't forget, this is a conversation. Yes, he's like speaking for 2 straight chapters.
Right.
But this is actually supposed to be a dialogue, which is why it's called the dialogue.
Sure.
Okay, so then chapter 6, Job is speaking to Eliphaz, and Job points out that it is his righteousness that is at stake.
Right.
So he's like, the fuck? And then in chapter 7, Job turns from Eliphaz to rail at God.
Right.
And he's like, the fuck, my guy?
Yeah.
And then in chapter 8, Bildad starts.
Right.
Talking, and Bildad asks whether God perverts justice or righteousness, which to me the answer is yes.
Right.
So then in chapters 9 through 10, which catches us up to where we are, Job asks how a person can be righteous before God.
Right.
And does it mean that I am righteous, or that I have been found to be and declared so by him?
Sure.
Which I didn't catch that, but that there is a difference between the two. Like,
right.
Am I good, or is it just that God has declared it so?
Right. Okay.
Which I found that really interesting. So, that's kind of the question that is central to this section.
Right.
And, what does it matter if I think that I'm good
if God doesn't?
If God doesn't.
Right.
And it's like trying to figure out, like, how do you reconcile those two and still maintain your faith?
Yeah.
And your belief that God is only good and just.
Sure.
And is God just, and should God be just?
Right. But then what do you find out when he made a bet? Or what do you do when you find out he made a bet?
I don't know if he finds out or not.
Right.
I honestly don't. I do know at one point God comes down and talks to him.
Okay.
Which I find interesting. But I tried really hard to avoid going much further past chapters 9 and 10, even though we're in the middle of, quote, the dialogue.
Right.
Okay. The rest of this section of round 1, we haven't read yet, but just to set you up for it, in chapter 11, that's when Zophar will speak.
I kind of figured that was coming.
Right. Because this is the pattern.
Sure.
And that's what they mean by a round. It's pattern 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to wrap up round 1 in chapters 12 through 14, Job will then speak again.
Got it.
So that's where we're at. That's what's been happening. And it raises some interesting questions. And we did understand pretty much what was happening, which is why we didn't really have any questions.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's other than the heavy prose that they're using for this dialogue.
Right.
It's fairly straightforward.
It's heavy-handed, and it's definitely more flowery than it needs to be, but it's considered by some sects of Christianity to be the poetics.
Right.
Like, remember with the Jewish Bible, it's considered the writings, the Ketuvim, the least important of the 3 sections.
Yeah. And
the Christianity has them listed as poetics. And that's why we have the flowery speech.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess, when I'm searching for what the meaning of, like, if I'm Christian, if I'm searching for my religion, if I'm trying to find out, I don't need flowery. I need to know what he wants. Just tell me
straightforward.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be poetic. There's no reason for it. It's just the fact that it just furthers the idea that this is written by man and, pushed by man, because they're thinking that this is going to make people like it more, essentially.
Right.
You don't have to like it. You just have to know what it's talking about.
Well, I think something that I find interesting is that we've always heard, based on the Bible that man is made in God's image. And then there's the argument that goes, no, the fact of the matter is God is made in man's image.
Right.
And that is so obvious, particularly in the book of Job, because only humans could be so cruel as to say, tell a guy to chop off his son's dick or to kill him and then be like, psych, just kidding. Only humans could be so cruel as to genocide an entire bunch of people and then not even think that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Like, no true God would be okay with that. Not the God as we understand him to be.
A God shouldn't be as petty as this God is.
Or small-minded, or shallow.
If this thing
or moved to anger,
built the entire universe, it doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to.
Right. It's just it's so obvious that God is based on human understanding and humans are cruel. Therefore, they made a cruel God.
Right. Yep.
There's really nothing that says it all. Do we need to read anymore? The answer is yes, because our goal is to read the whole Bible.
Right, but also we just, there it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think we found the answer. It only took us up to Job, right?
Right, yeah. Well, do we have anything else to go over today?
No, that pretty much finished it up. Like I said, didn't have anything to specifically answer. But
right.
Still
just
interesting.
Sum it up and go over a couple of things. That's fine.
Let us know where we're at.
Right. So that was our Q&A for Job chapters 6 through 10.
Correct.
And we are hopeful to be back tomorrow with our...
Oh, tomorrow's Sunday.
That's
so tomorrow will be... Oh, what is it called? Sacrilegious Book Club.
There you go.
I couldn't think of it.
I mouthed it like 3 times trying to get you to say it.
I know, but I couldn't see your mouth.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I'm dumb.
Okay.
Yeah. So there it is.
All right, yeah.
That one. And then you'll do the weekly wrap up.
Yep. And then we'll be back on Monday with
Job chapter 11.
Very good. All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Yep. Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you know what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing, it's where we read things and stuff.
Ooh, I know. It's the Sacrilegious Book Club.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
I know. So I need to do the whole, this is where we are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let us have it.
Okay. So we are reading from A Treasury of Jewish Folklore. Stories, traditions, legends, humor, wisdom, and folk songs of the Jewish people.
Okay.
Edited by Nathan Ozibel.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
So part 1 was Jewish salt. And we are in part 2, which is heroes.
Okay.
And under heroes, we've learned about wise men. And now we are learning about holy men.
Holy men, huh?
Holy men. But I'm not done. I got to break it down a little further.
Okay.
Yeah. Under holy men, we've learned about pious and righteous men, charitable men, and martyrs.
Okay.
Today we are learning about the power of prayer on page 157.
Non-existent.
What? Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's go get into this.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Okay, so the power of prayer.
Power of prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that you might end up liking this section.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So just give it a chance.
I'm going to give it a chance.
Okay. So I'm going to read a bit more extensively from the introduction than normal because Ozzy Bell quotes the Agata and talks about several different things that I think will be important in understanding the various stories that we might hit on today.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So he starts the introduction thus. The Agata of the Talmud relates how once the Roman Emperor Antoninus, who was a philosopher, asked Rabbanu HaKadesh, give me your opinion. Is it right to pray frequently to God?
Okay.
What do you think the answer is?
No.
Very good.
And I'll tell you why I think that, even though I don't believe in prayer in the first place, and I think it's worthless. But praying frequently, you're asking too much shit from somebody. It's just like if you ask somebody for something all the time,
Right.
like, just stop asking, dude.
Stop asking.
Right.
Yeah. That's close.
Okay.
Close.
Right.
You're in the right ballpark.
All right.
You are correct that yes, you don't do that too often.
Don't do that. Got it.
Don't do that.
Okay.
It is not right, answered Rabbeinu.
Okay.
Why not? One must not become too familiar with God.
See?
This answer failed to satisfy Antoninus. So early the next morning, Rabbeinu again called on the emperor, and as he entered the room, he cried out, "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!" A little while later, he repeated the salutation. "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!" For a third time that morning, he returned and cried, "Peace be with you, O mighty Caesar!"
Yeah.
At this, Antoninus became angry because he was not seeing the equivalence to what they had literally just discussed, because he's fucking thick.
Right. They never. It's a.
I know.
They have to make them thick.
I know.
That's the way this goes.
I know. This isn't like really what happened, obviously. It's just, I hate it when it's like so fucking down your throat, annoying, obvious.
Yeah.
"What is this mummery?" he asked Rabbeinu angrily. "Clearly you wish to make sport of me." "May your ears hear the words of your own mouth," replied Rabbeinu. "O Caesar, if you, who are only a ruler of flesh and blood, take offense when I bore you with my too many greetings, how do you suppose the King of Kings would regard it?"
Right.
"Certainly it is wrong to impose too much on God with prayer."
I have to take a second here, because if God is taking prayers from like everybody in the planet / universe,
right,
I don't think like 1 extra or 2 extra prayers is really gonna push him over the edge.
Well, and then there's also what are we talking about with prayer? Like, there's different components to prayer, which this section does not hit on.
Right.
There's like, he's just addressing being greeted.
Sure.
Like, God is great. God is great. Hey, God is great. But then there's also, as you were mentioning, the asking for things part.
Well, and I kind of take affront to this because, like, God wants people to worship him, which means that they have to go through these rituals where they do pray.
Right.
And they call on him. And I'm like, but he literally tells you to do these things.
Right.
And wants you to do these things because he is a jealous God. Because he wants all this attention.
Right. All this
But
glory.
now you're telling me, but there's a line somewhere
right.
in the fucking sand, somewhere that you could maybe sort of kind of cross by addressing God too often.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like bullshit to me.
It does sound like bullshit to me also. There's like a disconnect between what God is demanding versus the practicality that the Jewish people have.
Right.
And I kind of admire the Jewish people's way more than the God's way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is more, even I blame Christians for doing this more than Jewish people.
Sure.
But this is cherry picking. Mm-hmm. This is wanting it to be something that you want as a person. Yeah. This is what you think.
Yeah.
It's not what the Bible kind of indicates,
no,
really.
Yeah, that's not the rules set forth.
Right.
The rules set forth are pray all the fucking time.
Right.
Pray loud, proud, pray quiet, pray in your closet, pray when you're peeing, pray all the time. Yeah. Always be in prayer.
Right.
Is what we've been led to believe is what God expects and wishes and desires.
Right, right.
And now this guy's like, he don't want all that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do
maybe
you know?
The meaning of prayer changed in the time, from Moses to whenever this guy is writing this. Like maybe what the definition of prayer has changed. But even that in and of itself is counter to what the Bible is. Like the Bible is supposed to be a law that these people live by. Mm-hmm. And so prayer wouldn't change. Yeah. But it did and it does. Clearly because they don't, aside from a few very specific and randomly, there's like one church in Israel that still sacrifices animals, or at least tries to anyway.
Yeah.
But most of them don't do that anymore. Right. So like obviously prayer has changed, right?
Clearly.
The Jewish people don't generally sacrifice animals anymore.
Right.
But it shouldn't really. Mm-hmm. It's still the word of God.
Right.
So it's odd to me that you can accept these changes that are counter to your texts.
I mean, similarly, it's the question of if you're finding workarounds to not work on the Sabbath, aren't you missing the point?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, no, and that's
you're
right
kind
in
of-
line with what I'm getting at.
You're
Is
kind
that
of doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing what the Bible expected you to do.
right.
So,
But then that allows for people to be like, well, see, you guys just weren't worshiping the correct way. So now we're, and then that's when religious fanatics come in and they're like, if we don't go back to the base idea, then we're just never going to be correct.
right. And it's like, okay, but which base on which day?
Right.
So, yeah. To continue, so we're going back to, that was the end of that little section. And now we're in Ausubel's words.
Okay.
In the introduction.
Yep.
He says, this legend reflects so trenchantly the thoroughly unpietistic, meaning not pious,
Right.
common sense approach to prayer in rabbinic tradition.
Okay.
A few bits later, he says, the sages taught God longs for the prayer of the pious. And by that, they meant that God took no pleasure in punishing men, no matter how justified. Which I'm like, I disagree. That's not what I've read.
That's debatable.
Mm-hmm. He was eager for them to appeal to his attribute of love in order that by their prayers, they might alter all his retributive decrees.
He barely tolerated these people.
Right.
Stop.
Exactly.
Sorry, we're yelling at our cat.
Yeah, she's being a butthole.
Yeah.
And we even fed her before, so I'm not sure why she's getting up in arms here. Okay, so to continue, a few sentences down, he says, in Jewish tradition, there are many forms of prayer. In earlier primitive times, it meant sacrifice.
Right.
Which, you said.
Yeah.
In Hellenistic, that's Greek days, one could also pray with healthy, productive work, which maintains the fabric of the world. So like acts.
Yeah.
Doing good acts.
Right.
Let's see. He says it was also valid to pray with the giving of material aid to the needy and extending a helping hand to a fellow creature in distress. So I find that really interesting because several Christians today are like, absolutely not. Acts alone will not get you into heaven.
Right.
And it's funny but acts alone used to be considered a form of prayer.
Yeah. But is it acts alone or it doesn't specify
faith
that
and acts. You're right.
And moreover, even if when we're reading the Old Testament, acts are part of the laws in the Levitical law.
And therein lies the difference.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting because this all depends on intention, right?
Right.
That's basically what he's saying is, what is your intention when back then they were sacrificing, or further on, what was your intention when you were doing these good acts?
Right.
And if a man prayed full of heart, he says, it did not matter what words he used or whether he used any at all. And
so I kind of agree with that at some level, right? Like, to me, most Christians that I know, most Christians that I encounter in the world give their faith lip service.
Right.
And don't actually adhere to the faith that they believe in.
Right.
They're all for it, but if it means not doing this or not doing that, then they're going to continue to do those things.
Right.
Right. So I feel like anybody who fully, even though I don't believe in religion or gods, right? Somebody who is fully behind what they believe in and from the heart is a much more sincere person than somebody who doesn't believe what they claim to believe.
Right. So exactly. It reminds me of when I was in high school, and I went to a high school where it was not in the best area. It was in San Antonio, and I found out years later that all the pregnant girls got sent there.
Oh,
so yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
They had a child care on campus and parenting classes and shit like that.
Right.
So if that tells you anything, and I'm not knocking anybody who got pregnant during high school. I got pregnant right out of high school, so I fit right in with them. I'm just saying, if that gives you any indication, it was the norm where I was at.
Right.
Where I'm going with this is, I remember so many girls that I went to high school with they would party and cuss and drink alcohol and just do all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And have all the sex with all the boys, right?
Yeah.
And then they would get pregnant, and suddenly it was like, oh, I can't have an abortion because that's against God. And I'm like, suddenly you're religious?
Right.
Where did that happen?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you believed in. I never saw you pray once. I never saw you go to church. I never saw you feel guilty
I'll
for
tell you
your
where
things.
it happened. It happened after they talked to their parents and their church leader, and they're like, "Oh, I suck."
Yeah.
Like they were made to feel guilty for what they did, and so they all of a sudden
became pious.
They realized that they have lived this life of religious, behavior, but have broken it recently, and when they've gotten older, and then they get reminded of it when they screw up, and so they then fall right back into it. It's an easy thing to do, I think. Like, oh, I screwed up. I better look for
I gotta be
the
religious
fix
again
here
now.
in religion, right? So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that I have met. They claim that they were atheist for a while. Well, for a while, meaning that they left religion, quote unquote. I don't ever really believe that, but like that means to me that they grew up heavily in religion, then decided they wanted to party during their 20s or whatever, and then at some point they just you settle down. You decide, hey, I want to do this, that, and the other, and so
there's
two things that happen. Either they meet somebody that brings them back to God, or they hit such a all-time low in their life that there's just no other choice, and somebody confronts them with, hey, there's God,
Right.
So that brings them back into the fold, so to speak.
That is an interesting thought process.
Yeah.
To continue.
Sorry.
No, I'm the one that took it off the rails. I mean, you were looking at me like, how does all this
Yeah, no,
relate?
I was wondering where you're going with that.
But I tied it back together, didn't I?
You did.
So he goes on to say, quite different was the concept of prayer among the Kabbalists. So this is people who are a little more, what would we call it? Like hardcore, radical. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Sure.
A little more radical.
Yeah.
They took the somewhat mystical, erotic view that prayer was a communion as intimate between the worshiper and God as that between the bride and bridegroom.
Okay.
Which I found that statement interesting because a lot of Christian hokey-pokey has to do with comparing the church as the bridegroom and we're the bride, or maybe the church is the bride and we're the bridegroom. I don't know.
Right.
And there's this whole marriage thing happening, and it's kind of gross, honestly.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really interesting take.
Yeah.
So he goes on to talk about rainmakers, and we're not talking about like people who make it rain, like with money and stuff.
Okay.
We're talking about like legit rain.
Okay. Yep.
So rainmaker stories arose among the Jews from the necessities of their physical surroundings. Duh.
Okay.
Right? In olden times, as we know, Palestine had a primitive agricultural economy. There were long spells of dry weather. It was an earnest invocation for rainfall because drought meant hunger and death.
Right. And then we see that throughout the Bible too. Like that's a big
absolutely
theme.
Yeah. The first Jewish rainmakers on record, thought you'd find this interesting, were the prophet Samuel and Elijah.
Oh, okay.
Who, by the power of their prayer, brought rain.
Got it.
The general view among the Jews of olden times was that drought was visited upon the land as divine punishment for the nation's collective evildoing.
Right.
And conversely, national virtue was rewarded by a plentiful rainfall.
Got it. I just can't imagine thinking that you're being rewarded and punished for these things.
Right? Yeah. I am not even... I can't even get into that. Like, it's just so weird.
Right.
It has to do with like, this school got shot up. That's because we don't have, it's because we have too many gays in America.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
How did you, that is such an arbitrary correlation.
Right. But there's literally and that's the part that always hangs me up with people that argue things like that. And there's literally examples of nations that are much more atheist and much more secular that don't have guns, that have had basically no incidents like that. No, it's not about your fucking God. It's about the laws and the ideas that are in that society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have the wrong fucking ideas and laws.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So while rainmaking is no longer practiced among the sophisticated Jews of modern times, again, these are his words, not mine.
Sure.
Among the more backward Jews, forgive me, okay? This is,
right.
I'm quoting.
I got you.
Among the more backward Jews of Asia and Africa, it is still in vogue. The magical effect of prayers for rain is still believed in devoutly.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to look up like Jewish rainmakers at some point, because that sounds like an interesting little side venture.
Rabbit hole. Yeah. But I just want to apologize. I'm not calling anybody backward. I cannot stress enough that those were not my words.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to read from the introduction.
Okay.
I just thought that had a lot of importance on what we're getting into. And there's not a lot of stories I'm going to read, and they're real short.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is called He Whistled for the Glory of God on page 159.
Question is, did he whistle while he worked?
He did. In fact, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Rabbi Zisha, the brother of the seer Elimelech, was a devout man. He held himself small in spite of his renown, and was always fearful that out of vanity he might preen himself as a man of God. One time he paid a visit to Rabbi Mordecai. As the hour of midnight approached, he got out of bed and in a voice full of anguish cried out, "God, oh my soul, I love you so much, yet I lack the inner power to express it." I mean, that's how I am with boys. Like, oh, I just like this boy so much. I mean, not now, but like when I was in school, right? Like,
right.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure you had those crushes that were just so hard and you just wish that you could say it and you don't even have the words, right?
For sure.
Yeah. He paced to and fro in his room, repeating these strange, passionate words over and over again with the deepest mortification. All this while his host, Rabbi Mordecai, stood with a companion behind the door, marveling greatly at what they heard. After a few moments of silence, they heard Rabbi Zisha exclaim, "Oh, my Creator, I do not know how to commune with you, for my thoughts are confused and my words stumble one upon the other. But, dear Lord, I have one insignificant talent. I can whistle.
Oh.
So let me whistle in order that I may glorify your name."
Hey, there you go.
Thereupon, the stillness of the night was broken by a rapturous whistling. It was like the song of a bird trilling in the sun.
Wow.
It was like the whisper of the leaves when the wind blows through them. It was like the chant of the cherubim and the seraphim, winging in joy to the throne of the Almighty. When Rabbi Mordecai heard the whistling, he began to tremble.
Oh.
"Come," he cried to his companion, "let us get away from here before the flames of this holiness consume us."
What?
Right?
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah. So much God in that room. We got to go.
But is he worried because he's sinful or not?
No,
Just
too much God.
Too much God.
There's too much God up in this house.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut that whistling out, man. There's too much God.
I gotta tell you, speaking of whistling.
You hate whistling.
I hate whistling.
I love whistling.
So much. Like, we talk about trigger warnings. Like, I am never so triggered as when somebody is whistling. I wish I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like I like pink instead of blue or whatever.
You've probably heard me since we've been at this new house, like whistling in the basement. Because I love whistling.
I know.
And there's great acoustics down there. Like it just like echoes off the walls.
And I've told you before, like it comes up the vent. And you can't hear me, but I can hear everything you're doing down there.
Right.
Yeah. So we like our new house, by the by.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next story I'm going to read is called The Long and the Short of It on page 160.
Okay.
Once one of Rabbi Eleazar's students was reading the service at a leisurely pace. At this, his fellow students complained how he drags out the prayers. Does he pray any longer than Moses, our teacher, whose devotion on Mount Sinai lasted 40 days and 40 nights?
My God, I hope not.
Oh, burn though, right? Like, he's like, get over yourself.
Right.
Sometime later,
That's like
another student...
That's like when you don't finish your food and people are like, there's starving children in China.
I was going to say
Whatever.
Africa.
Yeah, Africa, right.
Yeah. Sometime later, another student was officiating at prayer, and he, on the contrary, raced through the service like a whirlwind. Blah, 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 like those medical commercials. And at the very end, they say, may cause diarrhea. And blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? This drug will probably kill you.
Those are like my favorite fucking bits of those commercials. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Like at the beginning, like it's all sunshine and flowers and grass, and they talk so slow and melodic.
Right.
And then at the very end, the voice drops really low, and they're like, this will probably kill you.
Yeah.
How fast he reads the prayers, his fellow students complained. Is his praying briefer than that of Moses, our teacher, when he prayed for the recovery of his sister Miriam with the words, heal her, O God?
No, probably not, I guess.
So I thought that was kind of cool. He's like saying, it's the intent. Don't fucking worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, that's a good, it's a good story.
I like
I think that applies to a lot more than just prayer.
Yes. I agree. The next one I'm going to read is the Tailor's Prayer, again on page 160. And I told you these were like super short.
Right.
On the evening of the Day of Atonement, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of the poor man's rabbi, asked an illiterate tailor, since you couldn't read the prayers today, what did you say to God? I said to God, replied the tailor, Dear God, you want me to repent of my sins, but my sins have been so small. I confess there have been times when I failed to return to the customers the pieces of leftover cloth. When I could not help it, I even ate food that was not kosher.
Oh, dang.
But really, is that so terrible? Now take yourself, God. Just examine your own sins.
Damn.
Right? I knew you'd like this one. You have robbed mothers of their babies and have left helpless babies orphans. So you see that your sins are much more serious than mine.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, God, let's make a deal.
I like this guy.
You forgive me and I'll forgive you. Oh, you foolish man, cried Rabbi Levi. You let God off too easily. Just think, you were in an excellent position to make him redeem the whole Jewish people.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing. I love it.
That's got to be my favorite story that we've read.
If there's ever recognition of, like, wow.
So you guys know then, right?
Yeah.
You admit it? God sucks? God's a dick? Like, I'm pretty sure that this story says that the Jews know that God's a dick.
That's my favorite one. I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, so the next one is called The Drunkard's Prayer.
Okay.
On page 161.
All right.
The rabbi was at the point of death, so the Jewish community proclaimed a day of fasting in the town in order to induce the heavenly judge to commute the sentence of death.
Okay.
On that very day, when the entire congregation was gathered in the synagogue for penance and prayer, the town drunkard went to the village tavern for schnapps. When another Jew saw him do this, he rebuked him, saying, Don't you know this is a fast day and you're not allowed to drink? Why, everybody's at the synagogue praying for the rabbi.
Okay. So
the drunkard went to the synagogue and prayed, Dear God, please restore the rabbi to good health so that I can have my schnapps. The rabbi recovered, and it was considered a miracle.
Yeah.
He explained it in the following way. May God preserve our village drunkard until it is 120 years. Know that his prayer was heard by God when yours were not. He put his whole heart and soul into that prayer. So you can see why I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one. And I do believe that brings us to an end.
Well, those
today.
are some pretty good ones. I
right?
like them, yeah.
We got some good chuckles out of those.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I told you that you might want to give this one a chance. I think you'll like it.
I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Jewish people in general. Many of them seem to be very able to laugh at their religion. Like not laugh at it, but like laugh with it, maybe.
Acknowledge that, yeah, I know. It's not everything that it, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying across the board, because there are definitely there's communities, and I know like when COVID started, communities of hardcore Jewish people that are like, they will not allow certain things because this, that, or the other, and they cause problems and spread diseases. There's things that are wrong because of their religion sometimes too, but many of them are very good humored about it.
Good humored. I think that sums it up.
Yeah. And that was some examples of some good humor about it. I liked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you surprised that the section that you like the most thus far is the one that falls under the power of prayer?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely that caught me off guard. So
well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that was our book club for today.
It sure was.
And in a little bit here, I will be getting together our weekly recap. Mm-hmm. Or weekly replay, as you call it, I guess.
Yes.
And then we will be back tomorrow with...
Job chapter 11?
Yep, that is correct. All right, we will see you guys then.
Yep, bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.